Hi everybody, it's Robbie from Southern California in the middle of July. And yes, today we're going to be in the 90s. We have been really hot for days. So what I'm going to do is just kind of do a quick walkthrough. I always say that and then it ends up an hour. But we're going to walk through and see what's going on because I'm really focusing on going through individual plants and things that are growing fantastic and why I'm growing certain things and why you should maybe be growing certain things. And again, we garden on the free. And the free is important. Why? Because as I always say, if nature can do all this, we most certainly too. And I'll talk about different things like why I don't use fertilizer, why I won't buy even the best. What works for me, and it works for Gary too. So here we are where I have been growing a field of turmeric, and boy, am I going to have a lot to harvest in the late fall and into winter. Isn't that gorgeous? I haven't even planted it all. I told Gary, please start taking because they're starting to grow, and I want to get as much planted so we will have it for until we run out. Because what I do with the turmeric, let's just walk around, tomatoes all over the ground, is I go ahead and I harvest the tomatoes and I harvest the turmeric and we freeze it. Then we have it until it runs out. The trees are growing good. Let me show you over here. Let me zoom out. The chair garden is a mess. I haven't got to it, but I am still harvesting in here. I've got squash growing, tomatoes growing, I've got greens growing, I've got green sorrel growing, I've got celery in here, I've got broccoli that's growing here. Look at the beautiful purple tree collard. It's a little tight, so it's not getting the big leaves. I'm going to get to it. This is one of my favorite gardens, but I've been working around other places here, and I want you to see. Keep in mind, this is a one-woman show because I am doing all this myself. Is it crazy? You betcha. Look, I have to step over this. This has worked out fantastic because I don't cover it. This is just a tomato plant that came up all through here. And you know what it's doing? If the critters want something to eat, they come here. It's easy. They can tuck themselves underneath the barbecue that Gary built, which is for tools and different things for out here. And they can hide from the hawks. Why should they go out in the open to feast here when they've got everything for free here? Truck bed is a wild field, and that has been great for the birds to nest in. I'm getting pomegranates on my pomegranate tree. Look at, but I'll show you what's really good, what we're harvesting. Oh, look at that one. That tree. This has been amazing. They're deep red and they're ripe already. Oh, look, I don't know if you can see the dragonfly. They're probably laying eggs, but we want to go through and change some stuff up here. That's the bathtub. Gary wants to change that into a planter. So be it if he wants to. And we've got the frog that lives in here every night. He just ribbits away. And then it's kind of wild. I've just left it. The problem is you clean it up and you get up in the morning and then everything is kind of a mess because the raccoons have come to take a bath. We even have some carpenter bees here. But look at the pomegranates. We've already been bringing them in. I'm planning on getting a whole lot more in the house. And I'm going to freeze a lot of it. So I'll have this all winter and I put it in my green drinks. If I sound stuffy, let me tell you right now what is going on. There has been multiple fires around different places. They pop up. But there's been some pretty bad ones in the LA area. And they drift. And they're here. And you can smell it at times, and Gary's been having a problem with it. It's really done a number on her throat, and just breathing it in has been really hard. And I know this morning I got up and I just have to keep, clearing because it's just so tough. But let's do a walk through here. And do I work outside in the garden? Look at my moringa. Yes, there's nothing I can do. If it's really bad certain days, we have really bad air quality, then we'll put on a paper mask just to help a little bit. Celery, tomatoes, celery, walking onions. This is my midnight snack. Remember I bought that little one, Armstrong, and that's doing good. Now this is purslane. I really need to do a video on this. See that? That's purslane seed. Looks very much like chia seed. Purslane is really good. I add it into my green drinks, but I'll tell you something. I don't want that in my garden. And I should do, I have done many videos on it, But the problem is, if you put it in your garden and you want to use the soil to start seeds with, you can't. It's a nightmare. I shouldn't say you can't. Of course you can, but it's a nightmare. So keep that in mind. Kind of keep your purslane like you would, I don't have any mint here, like you would grow mint, because that can take over your garden really fast. I didn't plant that there, just so you know. It planted itself. And then I'm leaving the sow thistle because the hummingbirds build their nests out of it, and all the birds and everybody eats it. Green sorrel, more tomatoes. This has been a blessing. This plant is from last year. So you saw the video maybe that I went ahead and trellised this up. Old tomato sticks, look, they're splitting. And I've got the irrigation tubing. This is how they do watering systems. This stuff will last 8 to 10 years. I haven't had any of it break anyways. And then you put the sticks in here and it brings in the birds, and they're collecting all the worms off of that, all the hornworms, and I don't have to worry about it. But that's an old plant. That's last year's plant. Groomed, taken down, let it regrow, and look at that. I keep picking. You shouldn't see any fruit. If you see fruit, that means I'm too slow and I'm not going after it. Got to pick all that off, and I've got to freeze it. Same thing here. Last year's tomato plant, I trimmed it back, started to regroom it, put on the irrigation tubing to stabilize it. Cheapest thing you can get. If you are really struggling with maybe buying a lot of stuff, I mean, you buy the tomato plants, the cages, and you put that around, and then they cost so much money and they fall over. This doesn't. This will really support. Here's an old tomato cage in here. Look, they rust out. So I just left it, and I put on the irrigation tubing with the tomato sticks. Garlic chives, Swiss chard, onions. Those are green onions, walking onions. There's some green Swiss chard. I really want to emphasize and grow a lot more green Swiss chard. That's my favorite. Haven't done anything in here. I'm getting ready to plant in here. I do leave the nasturtiums because that I do use in my green drinks. Haven't done anything here. I'm just working all the time. So things are going to change. I've got all the walking onions. Oop, lizard just took off. This is the butterfly garden. So I let it go wild. Isn't that cool? And all the butterflies come here, especially the monarchs, and they keep laying eggs, and there's constantly monarchs flying around. They go up, they cocoon, chrysalid all over here, and then we just get a lot of wildlife in here, which is really cool. Mainly butterflies. Then I've got my tomato plants. They haven't started to throw too many tomatoes yet. I've got a few in here. This I'm really pleased with. This is my San Marzano, and I planted this from seed. Now, last year I bought the plant. I still have the stake from it. It's in the back. Let me see if I can get it. So while I'm getting it, I'll tell you, I bought the plant, and I know that they do stuff with a lot of these plants now where the seeds are no good. I planted all the seeds from a San Marzano tomato, and only one grew. Can you imagine? One plant grew, and that's this one. But look, it's absolutely full. My hopes are I got a good one now, and I can collect seeds from that, and I can keep growing it. I don't have to buy it anymore. Then I've got green sorrel, red vein sorrel. Beautiful plant to add to your salad. Don't overdo it. It's not something you'd want to make a salad out of and eat a lot of, but to add to a salad is wonderful. It just sometimes has components in it that may pull calcium from your body if you ate a whole bunch. So you want to kind of use that sparsely, like a lot of other plants, even Swiss chard. Then here's another tomato plant. Now this one I grew from seed. Okay, it's just starting. I've got the pear tomatoes back there. I think I can get you in there. Okay. So this one I grew from seed, did well, and then I've got more purslane. Again, I didn't plant it. So we do have to talk about it. Some people tell you plant it all over your garden. You can, but once you do it, you can't get rid of it. It will be there forever. So you'll have to be weeding, in other words. You know what? I think we should walk it through here, and then we'll go to the front yard because we're right here. There's the Hummingbirds lunch that I went ahead and planted and moved. It's doing okay. And, oh, you know that bag of soil I've been using all year? It's empty. I kept the bag, use it for trash. One big bag to plant a lot of stuff because I use such a small amount of soil. I am doing a lot of videos on lettuce this year. It is the easiest thing for anybody to grow. You're going to get all the pointers on how you can grow it. Look at all this I'm growing, and it doesn't even look that nice because I'm harvesting. I took a ton of stuff off yesterday. You can see I took a ton off. I keep going through here and harvesting, but the big thing is I've got to keep it growing. Now, I haven't grown too many new ones. I'm just starting here. They're doing really good. It's covered in black tulle, this one. This one, some old blue tulle, turquoise I had. Look at this, fantastic. So I've got all this going on, and it's just growing great. Look how big they are. Are they going to be as big as what you get in the grocery store? And there's even whitefly in there. But you know what? If you notice, they're not even damaging the lettuce, which means it's healthy lettuce. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of, let's say, insects nature on there. They're not even making holes. The lettuce is growing fantastic. And little birds can come if they want and pick the whitefly off. The point is, if plants are healthy, you probably won't lose them. So I don't worry about that. I'll go through, pick the leaves I want, and then I'll wash them. And you know what? We're not doing one on lettuce today. More lettuce in there. But it is an important food source, I think, for a lot of us because we use it in so many different ways. Whether you use it as a salad, add it to something you're eating like a sandwich, or even slice it up and put it in stir fry, because that's how originally people used it. Oh, the milkweed. It's going to seed everywhere. Look at that. This is why I grow so much of it. But I'm pulling it out of a lot of places and growing it in its own container. I'm leaving this here to create some shade for the summer, but I think I'm still going to cut it down. But here's the basil I just planted a while ago. Was this the new one? And then I've got all these different, I don't even know what, some of these were Gary's Thai basil. I think we've got holy mint back there, or it might be holy basil. Okay, I don't know. I don't see it. Then I've got oregano there, rosemary, sage back there, sage here. Here's another basil, a purple one. And then I've got garlic chives. I guess I've got some more sage back there. This whole field here is oregano. Isn't that cool? I'm letting it do its thing. It fell and it's growing. See what I'm doing with a lot of the milkweed? I'm planting it in its own containers, portable, so I can move it. This is all pepinos growing there, except for there's some peppers now I put in. Pepinos there, that's an old plant already. It's a few years old. Planted that a while ago, but you can get cuttings off of this. And this is just some of my geraniums. This is where I'm working now. I'm taking everything out as far as milkweed, and they're going in containers, and I'm working with my pepinos. I have really gotten a taste for pepinos. Brought one in the other day that was big and yellow, and it literally was sweet as a melon. I couldn't believe it. I haven't waited that long. Have a method of bringing it in, curing it, and then eating it. It's fantastic. The only bad thing about this fruit, should do a whole video on it. This is not fertile. So I cannot grow it from seed. You know, I think I will do a video on that. It probably was altered because it originally started from the grocery store. And we've talked about that. I've got videos on seeds. So none of them produce seeds. You know, I think I will do a separate video because a lot of you may not be interested. But yeah, you can't do it that way, but I can do cuttings. And that's how I keep growing. Look at all the flowers. And you really, you know, maybe you really should think about growing it. This is a perennial. It just keeps on growing. It doesn't die back here in Southern California in the winter. It just grows green and beautiful, and I just keep on growing it like I do here. This is the oldest plant in this area. This came from Gary's garden. I went down there, took a cutting, planted it there. Look how woody and old it is. But it makes great plants. Here's a new one. Just started some new cuttings. So I can move that anywhere I want. Easy to do from cuttings, but for me, you'd have to buy the seed because I have no seeds, which is kind of frightening when you think about it, but what can you do? All right, this is a cutting from, I believe, black cherry, and I just planted that. And then all these here, this is just propagating some different geraniums. I do kind of double, triple duty, and this is new. So I'm kind of going through the totes. Not going to redo that. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to redo those two there. Possibly the third one there. This I'm leaving. This one I'll clean up and decide what I'm going to do. I may have some pepinos in there. I've got a lot of walking onions all through there, but a lot of those are growing in milk cartons. So it'd be very easy to move. I had cleaned this one up, but that milkweed is going. Cut it all the way down, and then I'm going to start fresh in here. Strawberries are doing good. I've been making strawberry ice cream. Look at that. Been picking quite a few now, which has been good. But see, they get tight as they grow because these containers in these dollar store containers are so small that you end up with these little strawberries. In the beginning, they grow really good and you get nice big strawberries, but then that's been on there too long. But see, then they start to shrink because there's not enough food source for it or room. It's basically getting root bound. So each pocket's got one strawberry, but you know, I'm going to change things up for next year. I'll show you in a second what I'm going to do. The garlic is falling over because it's too hot, which is fine. I'm replacing it. I put a Malabar spinach here, which is now winding up and going up here. I've got some walking onions I'm putting in. If I don't find the garlic in here, this is what's really cool. It's going to come up in the fall when the weather cools down. So that's fine. I told Gary, when you find it, pull it out and use it. All of these had garlic and they just can't take the heat. See, they're just literally falling over. It's fine with me. So dig them out, I told Gary, and use them on your tortillas in the morning. And then whatever's left will come back. In the meantime, I'm going to grow something else on these. Now I'm trying to do individual videos. So we're not going to step into this jungle. But I will tell you, it is loaded with tomatoes. There is the black cherry on the bottom there. You probably can't see it good. Then I've got the sun golds back there. There's tomatoes all through here, and I really have to hunt. This has turned into a literal jungle. Look at all the tomatoes on the top. And it works. But I think I might change things up when I go back to do something later on. I'm not sure. We'll see. But it does work. I can bring a stool in there. I can get in there, clear the bottom out. I do not trim my plants. Let me stop for a second. So many of you have come to me with some different issues that I'm not used to, and you don't even live in the desert area. Your plants are dying. You have to start them over. The other day, somebody came in and told me they don't know why all their plants are dying, and they're hoping they can start them, and they were told to trim off all the leaves. But I saw the video. I don't care what you saw. You don't trim the leaves. If you look, I've got big leaves that are yellow. I leave them. What are those leaves doing? They're creating shade on the main trunk and stalk of the plant. They're creating shade on the fruit. If the fruit gets into full sun in 90 plus degrees, it's going to burn. The leaves are designed for the plant to do multiple things. So if you're trimming off your leaves, this is why you're starting your garden over, or so many of you have lost your garden. I don't know what videos you're watching, but the main thing is common sense and do the research. And I usually go by common sense, but I do a lot of research. Oh, I didn't show you here. See, it's kitchen scraps, but I'm composting them now in buckets. I have so much that I'm starting now, just putting buckets with holes on the bottom, and I'm composting in place there, and then I can grab the bucket. So in the meantime, it's starting to break down, probably making that milkweed grow really big. And I can just grab it and dump it in a tote. Peppers. Oh my gosh. I've got videos on how I got these peppers, just buying them from the store. Now these peppers grow really good, and those are from the store. Go watch the video if you want to grow peppers. But here's the small ones I planted a little bit ago. They're doing really good. I want you to see this. Hey, that one's falling over. This is lettuce. Now I planted this lettuce around the same time I did a lot of the videos over there with the lettuce that's really big. And notice the size. It gets sun in the afternoon, but it's struggling for many reasons. So I want you to keep that in mind. Watch some of my videos on lettuce if you're interested in that, because this doesn't work. And that's why I wanted to show this. And I probably should talk about that separately later, because it's not that it's cramped, it just doesn't work. We're just not designed to grow lettuce in big containers like that. So if you want to grow lettuce, watch the videos and start growing lettuce the way I'm showing you. At least try it. And if it works for you, then you'll be a master at growing lettuce. Okay, these are all cuttings of geraniums. This one's doing good. I think it's rooted. It's got all new growth. Cool. So there's, oh, this is a yellow pepper. Is that not cool? And that's basically it. So we walked around. Let's go over here. We're not going to go inside of all the dog kennels because I'm going to do separate videos on that. Here's my water feature I just put together, and the birds love it. I'm not sitting out here because I'm working now, but I watch all the birds come to it. It's just been beautiful. All right, so we've got a lot of cucumbers going on. I don't know how much you can see, but there's cucumbers all over. We constantly are picking. Here's the squash I just did last week. It is taking off. I've got a brassica in there doing so good. I'm going to leave it, and some zinnias growing. This one got really big. Boy, I looked at the video when I did this about a month and a half ago, and it was a tiny, nothing, almost dead plant, and now I'm getting fruit and everything off of this, all of them. We're going to take a peek, but we're not going to go in because I want to keep everything separate. It's just too much right now, and I literally work around the clock. So we've got cucumbers of all kind. I can step in here for a second. That's an interesting one. I bought a 4-pack. They were supposed to be they're supposed to be the burpless ones, which is this one. But one of the plants, that means they mixed up the seed. See, they're up there too. All the big ones are gone already because we picked them. And I've got a watermelon down here finally that looks like it's taking off. And there's more watermelon growing there. So I've got to keep an eye on that because they only want 1 or 2 watermelon per plant. It's more of a treat type plant. That is not a burpless. So I don't know, but it's fine. It's cucumber is cucumber to me, and it's perfectly fine. Everything there is doing good. I've got tomatoes growing. I've got tomatoes here, but I'm changing this up. So we'll come back another time. Gary's been harvesting, and has he been taking it? Yes. Okay, this is eggplant. This is just a cutting. I'm keeping a purple tree color. Let me get out of here. It's so hot. I want to get through this, and then I still want to go through and check my plants. This is going to be changed up a little bit. I'm going to go mainly with lettuce in here because it's just so important to grow lettuce right now. I don't want anything. I don't buy lettuce from the grocery store. I got one for free accidentally one day, but there's no reason to buy it when you can grow it. Once you get the hang of growing it, you can grow so much. I've got lettuce in bowls. I've got lettuce in dish pans, but there's certain ways that it just grows the best. And then I've got my papayas I've got to move. I'm working on that. I've got a tomato here in a bucket just on the end. And the strawberries. This has been amazing. These dish pans. I keep picking strawberries. I come out every day and there are strawberries. I still have garlic in here. Look at that. Strawberries here. More strawberries there. Oh my goodness, look at this. So I'll be whipping together some popsicles or ice cream for Gary. This is a weed. You want to make sure if you see weeds to get them out. You can drop them back. Okay, that's a zinnia. I'll leave that. This should be cut. Drop them back if you want, but the point is these weeds are taking nutrients from your plants. Now this leaf can come off if I want because it's red, but I make sure the leaves stay on. First of all, the leaves are protecting my strawberries. See? Otherwise they'll burn. And it's feeding the plant. So you want to leave as many leaves as possible. There, you've seen that. It's just squash everywhere. Haven't planted in the one towards the end there yet. Just as crazy. These are hybrids. This is from a zucchini that I kept years ago that was supposed to be heirloom. You would think that, it was the only plant growing, but it doesn't matter. They've been altered, and I get all different size fruit. Some are yellow, some are green yellow, some are big, some are small. Will I grow hybrid again, stuff I collect the seeds from? I might, just because I can get these started sooner. But there is an issue right now with collecting seeds. So I'm going to say it only one time because I don't want to stay on this topic because I want to kind of walk through before the sun kills my camera. The point is, if you planted up your entire garden right now with seeds that you collected, or fruit that you were growing that looked beautiful, and that tastes good, by the way, the problem is some of them won't grow. I know some of you are growing seeds from the grocery store like cantaloupe. You're going to get a beautiful plant, but there's a good chance I've done it. You won't end up with the fruit you think you're going to end up with. You'll end up with this little green thing that doesn't look like cantaloupe or taste like cantaloupe. And you're probably okay to try it, but never eat a bitter squash. That's all I have to say. Don't ever eat that. You know what? Let's go to the front yard. I think we've seen everything here. and all the changes coming. You see I got rid of all the buckets back here. That's what I'm working on, that because I have an idea of doing something different. I have no idea how I started to grow so much. Like Gary said, every time you expand your garden, you're giving yourself more work. Yeah, but you know what? I love it, and I can pace myself. Sure, years ago, my only garden was the chair garden back there, really. A couple of other things here and there. And I put all my time into that. But I can move around and take care of what I want. Is that not beautiful? All those chairs here, everything is congregated in one spot. And this is very easy for me to come out and maintain in the evening. Because I'm only going from here to here. The hose reaches everywhere. And it's just kind of like very homey. And that looks like it's so far away. It's not, but I'll get to it. After all, I got to my turmeric. Okay, let's go in the front yard. And as we venture off to the front yard, there's my seeds. So I grow seeds in here, and then I move them. This is Gary's borage. He's supposed to take it and plant it, but I got some squash out already. I've gotten out my cucumbers. I've got a cucumber in the corner there. So this is covered, so no insect. You know what? I knew it. I knew it. The other day, I moved some seedlings out of here, and I forgot completely about it, left the top open, so something's in there right now. I'm going to have to keep an eye out. If you leave the top open, something will fly in, and they can get to your seedlings, but, it's okay. I'm going to move those out soon. Okay, to the front yard. I think for the front yard, I'm just going to do it from here and keep walking, because nothing is different, really. It's all wild. All I do is come through here, do a little bit of grooming, and then I water the dish pans that have stuff in it I water everything. But I mean, in there, I've just got some squash growing and some brassicas and some garlic chives, walking onions, and that's about it. So there's no change, really. I mean, I don't see a change. There will be. Again, I take my time. I pace myself because this is just my gardens that I've started. And so we'll walk over here, but see? I had planned on making such a big, beautiful garden here, but I'm working so much in the back, and that's all right. But eventually, I'll get a really nice garden here, and look, I planted flowers here, took the time to do that. Look how nice they're growing, hummingbirds lunch. So the hummingbirds can come through here and forage around, and they can find flowers. Now over here, some of the turmeric that I just showed you in the driveway is going to end up here. I've got ginger in the back starting. We now have our nights into the 60s and staying there, 65 to 68. That's what this loves. Now, I don't know why this is turning yellow. We'll keep an eye on that. But this is turmeric. But look at this, turmeric. The blue is struggling this year, and I think the black or blue turmeric, this one's starting to take off. I think the point is it needs warmer nights. But our nights are changing, so it should actually start to grow better. Going to get a little bit more out here and fill the table just a little bit more. Cool. Okay, and let's go into the bird garden. I haven't even gotten down to Gary's garden. We can take a peek quick. Unbelievable. Sometimes I look down and I see him on top. Really scares the dickens out of me. But I do plan on going down there. He's been working his tail off down there. He's building all kinds of raised beds and putting up videos. Unique raised beds that are so cheap that you really should check it out if you need some. He's keeping the gophers out because he has a major gopher problem there. But that is fantastic. So I don't want to get in his way. It's kind of that's his man cave. Let me close this gate. Now I can't bring Zoe out with me right now because this year, it's not just us, our neighbors, we have an epidemic of snakes. And I come through and do a sweep to see if I see anything, but that doesn't help me. I didn't do a video, but the other day I was walking through here, so desperately making sure as I'm working on plants that I don't step or, get too close to, let's say, even a rattlesnake, because we do have some here. I'm looking underneath, I look down at my foot. What am I stepping on? A gopher snake. So now I got to keep my eyesight going everywhere. So I do know I have a gopher snake in here, which is good because he'll drive off any rattlesnakes. I have not ever found a rattlesnake in the bird garden, but still I have to be aware of it because they move down from the hills that are up there and they can move around here. We've had some here. Our neighbors across the hill had some. So they are here and I have to be aware of it. I worry about Zoe because if she sees a snake, knowing her, she'll attack it. Where Gary's healers, if they see a snake, they step away. So to give her something, since she's been staying in the house a lot, not in the bird garden, we got this smart ball. There's all different types. You recharge them, and then they sit there, and then all of a sudden they start to bounce, they jump, they roll, they do everything. This particular ball, the one that she's playing with now, was too big. She couldn't lift it, so I put it in an old clean sock, and she loves it. It's annoying, but you know what? She's happy, and I don't have to buy batteries. And it keeps her well entertained. So that's why I have to be very careful. They'll be gone by the end of September. They'll go probably back into their caves or wherever they go, and then I don't have to worry about it. I do plan on coming in here and gutting the place slowly. Can't do anything too fast because all the birds, the hundreds and thousands of birds that visit here would come in and go, oh my gosh, what has she done? Is it a trap? It's scary. So I'm doing it slowly, trimming things back. You can see there's a lot of pots around, moving things around. This is too big. I've got to change this. It's emu bush. There's a salvia in here. And then there's the hummingbird's lunch, which is the kufia. Just too much. Pulled some stuff out from here. So I want to get that water fountain out and moved. I've got all different types of succulents. Look at this. This is the same cutting from Harbor Freight. I put a cutting here. It's going to throw flowers. And I want to get more flowers in the center and kind of change up. Oh, a cowbird. I haven't seen the cowbirds for a while. Oh, look at that. I know you can't see him. Let me see if we can zoom in. That's the pintail white up there. No, he's tucked away. Can you see him? Look at that tail on him. He sports that thing and flaunts it around. He scares the biggest birds. It's so funny. Let me back out. He's here all day. In fact, it's more than one now. We have quite a few pintail whitus. That's the cowbird that's calling right now. So I'm going to trim the fig tree in the winter down, or Gary, a little bit. I mean, the birds like it. I don't want to take it out. It's on the other side of the wall. One is a strawberry fig, and then the other ones are just good figs. They taste good. Trim that back, and then he's probably going to cut a little bit of the dragon fruit plant back. We did cut a lot, and we've got flowers starting, but right now they're flowering. See, let me get back here. Here's two that are going to open probably within 2 days. Oh, there's three actually. So they're all over here. Then I've got more lemon verbena. I want to grow more. Here's a big one I planted. I'm going to go buy another one. I was going to do cuttings, but it'd be much quicker. Let me get out of here. To do cuttings, it'd be much quicker to buy than to do cuttings because I have to wait for it to develop a root system. And I want it to grow now. So I'm going to be moving a lot of stuff around here. Now this is what I'm cutting back. This I want to compost. This is this beautiful brassica up here. Why am I cutting it back? Because this is important to me. I've worked 2 years on this plant. This is a papaya. It's taken root. It's getting a great big trunk. It's in that pot right there, the one that's got a little crack. Right there. Is that not cool? But the pot has an open bottom, so it can go straight into the ground. Planting trees and plants in pots with large holes or open bottoms, I'm telling you, is really good for plants. A lot of people don't think so, but there are people that are doing it because they figured it out. This is the best way because that plant is getting water all the time. So I'm going to clean this up. There's some decor in there that needs to be pulled out and cleaned up. There's the fountain in the back. I want to get more fountains in here. Look at this stuff. Isn't this cool? And right now they're all hiding in the trees and it's hot. But this has just been fantastic. So I want to get more papayas growing because I have all those little baby papayas in my dog kennel. And that keeps the squirrels out, the dog kennel, which I love my dog kennels. Oh my goodness. There's another fountain. You can't see it. See how the kufias have grown over? I want to be able to see all that. And then this has to be moved as quick as I can. Why is it growing like that? Because it's reaching for the sun. There's too much shade here. And that's the other issue with the papaya. It's going to struggle if I don't really chop this thing back. So every day, literally every evening, I come out here and I look and I go, yep, We can remove this. Oh, I don't have a cutters, but I just go through and start chopping things out, giving it more and more sun, piling it here because this will go in a tote, and it's just going to be able to go up here. I think it's going to be really cool. It'll be kind of like my other papaya down there. This is one of my favorite yards. Look at this. Blanket flower, a propagated plant, a plant I didn't buy in this garden. A bird pooped the seed here, I'm sure. It showed up, and I've been doing cuttings ever since, and I've got them all over. We bypassed a lot. Got that trellis I bought. Oh, you know what? We can talk about that another time. I've got my fuchsia growing in there, but this is just so pretty. It is like a jungle. It wasn't supposed to be. I had planned on coming out here and doing a lot of trimming, and I really didn't. And Gary gives me plants, some sort of sunflower. I forgot the name of it. Where's the flowers? Oh, there's some flowers in the back. So sometimes he gives me plants that he's growing, and then I grow them, and I've got more back there. Literally, it is a jungle. But here's the thing. All this is my soil. All those leaves on the ground, I can collect that. And what is that doing? On its own, it's creating more compost for the plants that are growing here. The ones that fell over and started to grow. Look at those gnarly roots. This is how nature grows. It's not buying soil from the store in bags that are just crunched up wood chips and who knows what else is in there. It's feeding itself. This leaf pulled up so much. And then you're going to rake it up and throw it out? You're going to put it in a bucket and save it and plant in it. Because these plants have roots that go into the ground, pull up what they want. And they pull up only what they want. And what they want is what you want. And when you go to plant, you collect all your cuttings from the garden and you just let it sit in a bucket, and then you fill it up like I did this container, this raised bed, all the way to the top with leaves and branches and everything that came out of here, or maybe another part of the yard. All those yellow and brown leaves. You fill it up and put a little bit of soil on top. You want to buy some potting mix for the top? Go ahead and do it. You want to dig it out of the ground? Go ahead and do it. But your plants are going to thrive because you're actually growing in the exact fashion it would grow in the wild. No, how they grow in the wild, not if. This is how they grow. This branch broke. If I try to lift this branch up, see it broke here, and the plants, see where it's broke? If I try to lift it, I'll end up ruining the branch. So I'm going to leave it the way it is and let the tomatoes continue to grow. This is milkweed over here. But that's the thing. I'm growing. Let me step in the shade because my camera is starting to tell me we're hot. The thing is, this is how it grows, and this is why we grow this way. And so the plants are going to just have to do good because that's what they do. Papayas in the wild, all that fruit and leaves and everything crashed to the ground. The animals forage and eat and poop, and everything decays there except for some of the fruit that gets dragged off. All these plants are growing in their own matter, and their matter is the best because they're sitting at a buffet underground. They're eating what they want. In other words, the roots are pulling up what they want. If there's plastic down there, I gotta pull the plastic off. You wouldn't eat it if you saw it. Why would they eat it? They pull up the nutrients they want, and it gets stored in the trunks. It gets stored in the leaves, and then it falls to the ground, and it decays. And what does it do? As it builds, it creates, I call it soil. Most people call it compost. And the life for the plant continues to grow. And they just feed themselves. This is a real mess. Look at this. It grew in a tote. They weren't even supposed to be here originally. This was compost. I used to compost all our extra papayas, and they came up. There were 7 about 5 years ago, and they're slowly fizzling out, but I'm going to get some more. I'm planning already to get more surrounded in here, and if all goes well, I'll have more papaya growing in this area, and hopefully before these 3 fizzle out. But right now, we're going to have a lot of fruit. There's at least a dozen there, if not more. There's a dozen there. Even the one that's kind of going out still has fruit, and it's creating more fruit. So kind of step back sometimes. You know what? If you can, take a walk. And if you can't take a walk, turn on YouTube and just watch a channel of nature, plants growing. Do you know, I used to do that. I completely forgot about that. Pre-pandemic and during the pandemic, I would take a nature walk. I haven't done that in a long time, and just walk through the entire garden. Just talking about animals, just talking about plants. And maybe, watch something like that and analyze. Watch it. Absorb what's going on in there and how these plants are growing. And I think you'd be surprised when you step back and think, why am I spending $30 for a bag of soil when I can make the soil and my plants will grow 100 times better? It is not saying not to buy. If you want to buy, you absolutely buy. But if you can't buy, because financially it costs so much, and I know I talked to a lady the other day, she wants the garden, but they go to the store and they start to collect the stuff that they need, and it's like, holy mackerel, I'm going to spend $100. I could spend that $100 on food from the grocery store with all the issues they've got right now, right? The point is, we can do it on a budget. And not only that, you're not sacrificing anything. You're actually doing better. I'm going to leave you on that note. I'm going to get out of the hot sun and I'm going to go have some breakfast and have a cup of coffee. I already had a cup, maybe decaf. You know what I do? I buy a good bag of organic cacao and I add a little bit to my coffee with a little milk, and it tastes so good. Of course, you have to add a little bit of sugar, but real sugar. I never use sugar substitute, ever. And it tastes so good, and I think I'm going to go do that now. And then later, I'm going to eat a salad because, boy, have I been eating a lot of salads. Think about that. Watch some nature things. If you can, get out in nature. Sit somewhere. Go to a park. Look around. Oh, maybe not a park. Okay, bad choice of words, because too many parks are spraying stuff and doing things. Look around at places that nobody's taking care of and think, how are those plants growing? With that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow and leave your comments, because boy, do I read through them and you give me ideas on topics and subjects to talk about. Bye-bye.